it isn't the Crane family in-house killer. I guess there's more than one reason to call you Scarface now.
We need to talk.
I believe we've finished our conversation on the wharf.
Do you have any idea what you did?
Actually, yes, I do. I stopped you from killing Paloma, then I stopped you from killing Fancy. In fact, someone should give me a medal.
No, you ruined everything.
I stopped you from committing murder. You should thank me.
Oh, well, don't hold your breath. I was controlling Fancy for months. That implant that Grandfather had put in her head made it so that I could make her do anything. And come on, I wasn't really going to let her kill Paloma. I just thought maybe she could bash her in the head a couple times.
You liar. You were livid when I came up on you on the wharf.
Hey, you were tempted to see her go all the way, too. I know, I saw you.
Okay, maybe I was. But then I stopped when I realized what I was doing. That's the difference between civilization and savagery.
You know, if only you would have left Luis alone, then he would hate Fancy right now. He would be gearing up to send her off to the gas chamber, but instead, you know what happened? You threw them right back in each other's arms again. Listen, we both want to be with Luis, and we have to do something. We have to do something, or neither of us will have a chance with Luis. You have to barge in on the wharf like that anyway. Nobody asked you.
Pretty. I couldn't stand by and watch a lethal crime being committed.
Now, if you had just stayed away, Luis and Fancy would be apart right now.
My God. What has Father done to you?
He's made me stronger.
No, he's brainwashed you. I know exactly how that goes, and he's so convincing when he does it, isn't he? Because he did the exact same thing to me. He had me believing that I was worthless and stupid, and it took me years to finally realize that he was lying out of pure sadism.
Grandfather is helping me. He is teaching me to be a true Crane.
No, he has made you forget the difference between good and evil.
No, he hasn't. He has taught me that the terms good and evil do not apply to Cranes. We're above that.
You know what? If you listen to everything that Father has to say, you will spend the rest of your life living with pain and bitterness.
I'm not going to listen to you, Aunt Sheridan. Grandfather says you're weak. Even Luis gave up on you and moved on to Fancy. Grandfather doesn't want Fancy and Luis together either, and he will split them up. I mean, why do you think he gave Marty back to you in the first place? He's using Marty as bait to get Luis and Fancy away from each other.
I know all this, Pretty.
Well, then why are you standing in my way instead of helping me?
Because I know Luis better than you do. I know him better than Fancy does. When you push him too hard, he will run for the hills. That's why I'm moving slowly, bit by bit. I will make him realize that what I have to offer is much better than anything Fancy could ever offer him, and he will come back to me.
And meanwhile, Fancy and Luis are still together. I know a few things about Luis, too, and he doesn't play around.
It's true. When he's committed to a woman, that's it.
Yeah, it's funny, because he didn't stay committed to you.
I know. And I know that that's my fault. I pushed him away, and that was the greatest mistake in my life. We both thought Marty was dead, and I blamed him for it. And if I hadn't have been so stupid, he never would have moved on to Fancy.
It's a little late now.
No, it's not. I was trying to do the right thing in my life, and I regret that decision every day of my life.
Well, then stop feeling sorry for yourself, Aunt Sheridan, and do something about it. It's time to toughen up. Fight Grandfather, and you know it. Maybe you don't want to resort to violence, but there are other ways. Come on, Aunt Sheridan, use that devious brain of yours and the gift that grandfather gave you, Marty. Otherwise, you run the risk. Grandfather taking him away from you again.
No, I will not lose my son again.
Well, maybe there's a way to keep Marty out of jeopardy and keep him with you.
What way?
Join forces with me, Aunt Sheridan. Help me destroy Louise and Fancy's relationship for good.
Okay, so you asked for my help before.
Yes. But I want to forge a real partnership with you. Come on. You and I are the only Crane women with any sense. Together, we could break up Louise and Fancy for good.
That would be a really good trick.
I mean it. Look, Aunt Sheridan, it is a win-win situation for both of us. Grandfather sees that you are actively trying to destroy Louise and Fancy's relationship, then he'll be satisfied and he won't go after Marty.
Okay, and what do you get out of this?
What do you think?
See, that's why teaming up with you doesn't make any sense. Luis doesn't want you, and he never will. How can I team up with someone that doesn't know the difference between reality and a dream?
No. When Louise and Fancy break up, there's no reason that he wouldn't be interested in me.
I can think of 100 reasons, and one in particular comes to mind. Me? Luis doesn't love you.
He will.
My God, you're mad, okay? You're mad. When Luis and Fancy break up, there's only one possible alternative for Luis, and that is to come back to me and our son.
You seem awfully sure of yourself.
With good reason.
Well, then what do you have to lose? Come help me. Help me break up Luis and Fancy for good, and then we'll let Luis choose. You or me. Lose. As far as you're concerned, Luis will never choose me. So once Louise Fancy break up, he'll choose you, right?
Right, of course he'll choose me. And if you had any brains, you would get over this silly obsession.
Then you win in every way. I'll be right there helping you win back the man you love. And once he and Fancy break up, then you can swoop in and grab him. I'm not even competition, right?
Right. Look, Pretty, you are only going to get hurt. Okay, because Luis and I have a child together. We share special memories.
Are you going to start talking about your past lives again?
Look, if you don't believe me, then ask Luis.
I shared a special memory with Luis, too,
Oh, that's right. You had a special night together. You made love. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You had sex under duress. I would have had sex with Jack the Ripper if it meant getting out of that disgusting basement. I'm sure Luis has forgotten all about that night by now.
He hasn't. I'm sure he hasn't because it was intimate and special.
Right.
He said the loveliest things to me, and he made me feel beautiful.
Yeah, and I'm sure he meant it, sweetheart.
You don't have to be cruel.
You're right. I'm sorry. I don't want to hurt you.
Look, Aunt Sheridan, we both want the same thing. Enemies can be allies, at least for a little while. We both want to destroy Fancy, and if we work together, it'll be a lot easier than working alone. Let's just worry about who Luis will choose after we destroy my selfish sister. What do you say? You with me or not?
All right, I'm in.
Great decision, Aunt Sheridan.
But let's get one thing straight. Nothing crazy. No one gets killed.
So it's a pact. Break up Luis and Fancy.
Here's to the end of Luis and Fancy for good.
Wow. I can't believe this.